All right. Welcome, everybody, to the 2023 Adult 18 and Over Section Championship Captains Meeting. We appreciate you guys being on here and captaining and making sure your teams are all organized and put together all season long. We know it's kind of a hard job. It's definitely a hard job, and we do appreciate you guys and all that you do. So this I do have a PowerPoint presentation, but we're pretty laid back here. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask. You can come off mute or you can drop them in the chat. I may not be able to see them if you drop them in the chat. So Pete or Viola can, if you guys can grab those. And we're going to kind of fly through this. But like I said, if you guys have any questions at all, please make sure to stop me and ask so that we make sure that you are all prepared for this coming weekend. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, there we go. So this is the Adult 18 and Over Section Championship PowerPoint. And this year we are outdoors. We are going to be at Amherst College and Smith College on Saturday and Sunday. There is no Friday play, so that's really exciting. The colleges, I'm going to get some definite addresses for you guys to put into your GPS so that you can get to the colleges. Sometimes the mailing address is not the same, and I'm going to double check on that and get that to you. A little bit of information about Amherst. I talked to the tennis coach today, so this would be for everybody playing out there, that we need to make sure and use the parking lot, which if you can see it, I don't know if you can see my little pointer right there. It's right behind the tennis courts. They requested that we make sure that we park back there, and then you kind of walk around to the front of the courts in the middle. So I'll get more information on that to you guys. Smith, there's a little hut right here that we'll be at, and we'll be under an overhang. The weather looks fantastic, you guys. I am so excited that especially Saturday, looks like it's going to be maybe high 70s, low 80s. Sunday maybe a little warmer, but no rain in sight, knock on wood. So very excited. Both of the facilities are really nice, and I think we're going to have a really great tournament. All right. So these, and like I said, I will send this out to everybody so that you'll have it. This is contact information for your site directors, your tournament director. That way, if you need to get a hold of anybody, you have some phone numbers to call, and we can kind of help out as we need to. A few reminders. You need to check in before your first match 45 minutes prior, not 45 minutes prior to the championship, 45 minutes prior to your first match. That gives us time to get your player gifts to you, to get your lineup cards to you. You still have time to fill out your lineup cards and get them back to us that 30 minutes early. So you don't need to be there 45 minutes early any other time, just before your very first match. So for all of your other matches, please check in and provide your lineups filled out, written neatly in good handwriting with the player's name as it's listed on Tennis Link, 30 minutes prior to the time that's listed as your start time. All of your players need to be dressed and ready to go at that time. That way we can keep things on time and keep things moving. We have scheduled some empty courts throughout the championship, so that if matches go long, we have some empty courts to fill in so that we can keep it on time and keep everybody playing at a good pace. All players are going to need to provide a government issued ID prior to playing. That can be a driver's license. It can be a passport. We just need to make sure that the face and the name match. And we do that right before they go on court. So they don't need to check into the desk anytime early. They just need, when we call them up to go on court, they'll show the site director their ID, and they'll be good to go. Please remember, there's no coaching of any kind. There's a lot of room to view at both of these locations where you can kind of stand on the fence and watch, but please don't coach, don't help. If they need water, if they need food, if they need a break, they need to come to us at the tournament desk, your site directors, and tell us. They can't tell you, hey, can you go get me some water? All we see is you talking to your player, and for us, that looks like coaching. So please let them know that as they're on court, it's their responsibility to take care of whatever it is. They can leave their racket on the court and walk off the court and just kind of pop on over. Go ahead. Somebody raise their hand.
Yeah, Christy, quick question. Are there bleachers or are people standing around the courts, meaning moving around and stuff?
So there are bleachers at both locations, but there are also people moving around. So you kind of have to block that out, but you're more than welcome to bring your own chairs. You're more than welcome to bring your own tent and set up a space for your team at either location. And then you can kind of watch. But in the middle of Amherst, it's 14 courts in a row, and the bleachers are right smack in the middle. And if I'm remembering correctly, at Smith, there are just bleachers on kind of one set of courts by the little hut.
What about clapping? I'm assuming it's complete silence throughout the matches.
No, you know what? We want to you can clap and you can cheer, but it's kind of a fine line between clapping and cheering and coaching. So just be careful. For instance, if you were to say, hey, Christy, way to move your feet, that's coaching.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, Christy, great shot, that's not really coaching. So it's a little bit of a gray area. We're unofficiated, so it's just like when you're playing your local leagues, but it probably will be a little bit louder.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're doing a round robin format. This, because this is the section championship, it is just one round robin, and the winner of that round robin is the winner of the championship for that level. There's no playoff. There are no head-to-heads at the end. Most of the flights are 4 teams. And so you'll just play, and then when all the scores are put into Tennis Link, the winner pops right out. You're going to play 2 out of 3 regular sets, so that's with add scoring. If you split sets, you'll play a 10-point Komen tiebreak. If it gets to 6-all in either set, you play a 7-point Komen tiebreak. Those are really important in outdoor events due to sun and wind and some other things. It keeps, especially for the doubles players, it keeps them serving on the same side they were serving on during the sets. If you have issues with the Komen tiebreak, you're also welcome to come up to the tournament desk and ask somebody for help. We are there to support you and make sure that your experience is good. So please, if you have something on court where there's a dispute or just confusion, come grab us and let us help you so that there's no angst on the court. There is also in your important documents, there is a flyer on how to do a Komen tiebreak. So if you're unfamiliar with it, you can go step by step. But like I said, if you do need some help, please come get us. You are going to switch on odd games. There's no rest after the first game. We're going to give you a 10-minute warm-up that does include serves. So make sure your players know, in order to keep things running on time, that we're going to need you to kind of keep track of your own time for the 10 minutes and get started on time. After each match, tell your players that they need to come up to the tournament desk, 1 from each team. They need to report their scores, return their balls, and then when they report their scores, somebody from each team will initial by their name that they agree that what was written down is the score. After all 5 lines have completed, you guys as captains are going to need to come back, review the scores again, double check with your players, and then you'll sign off the scorecards, and then we'll input scores in Tennis Link once both captains have signed off and agreed that those were actually the scores. So this is a no default championship. I think you guys know that. We don't seem to be having any issues. That just means that you're going to bring enough players for all 5 lines for all the rounds. And we know ahead of time that you're ready to play all the matches. If an unintended default occurs during the championship, say you bring just enough players to play, somebody gets hurt, and you don't have enough players for one of your lines, we default from the bottom up, which means 2 singles or 3 doubles. And then that line gets defaulted through the entirety of the championship. So if it happens to be the last match that gets defaulted, the first 2 will be reversed 6-0, 6-0 in favor of the other team, no matter what the outcome of the matches were. So just beware. bring some extra people if you can. We know that it's tough this time of year, but just in case something unexpected happens, you still have some extra people that can help out if you need to. So this is about the 3-strike disqualification. I'm going to pass this over to Pete so that he can go through it with you guys. You're on mute, Pete, for this one.
Oh,
there you are.
Yeah, in all adult leagues, 18 and over, 40 and over, and 55 and over, every match that's played gets a dynamic rating for each player involved in that match. At the national level, there are ranges that are considered to be within a level. As an example, if you're a 3-5 player, you know, what's considered within that range would be a 3.01 to a 3.50. And what happens with the 3-strike disqualification is if you are outside of the range, so let's say instead of 3.50, you have 3.80, which would be 60% into the 4.0 range, they have defined what is considered significantly out of level. And if the dynamic gets it to significantly out of level, it creates a strike. If that happens 3 times, we need to disqualify you. We run it during championships periodically. And if someone strikes out during championship, all matches played are reversed and given to the opponent as 6-0, 6-0 wins. So if someone is, you know, on the report, we're required by national regulations to do the administration on that, notify the captain, the player, the site director, etc., and process it. What I would tell you is that 3-strike disqualifications are relatively infrequent. I know people get a lot of angst about it, but the player needs to be pretty far out of level in order to get a strike. So to get 3 of them, generally speaking, it's on the high end. So that's really my summary. If there are any questions, please ask. Go ahead, Danny.
So this happened in our districts to the team that we were playing against. We found out that there was a 3-5 player that was playing 3-0 matches. I'm just confused how that could actually happen. Like, is it like dynamic ratings that are constantly changing? Because I thought the ratings officially changed in November. So I'm just kind of confused how that could even happen.
Yeah, behind the scenes, every match that's played during the year generates a dynamic rating in hundreds. No one gets to see that except for very few people in the country. But yes, every match does generate a rating that indicates what level of play that person is performing at. Does that answer the question?
Yes. So how would we know if we had a player on our team that had a rating that was too high to be playing at a 3-0 level?
Yeah, no one is going to
We
tell.
wouldn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's confusing.
Any other questions?
Okay. I wanted to go a little bit over medical timeouts. There's a lot of gray area in the medical timeout world. medical timeouts were really written in the code at Friend at Court for tournaments that have officials, referees, and athletic trainers or doctors on hand. And as we are unofficiated matches, that makes this a little bit on a kind of a sliding scale, so to speak. So technically, a medical timeout consists of an evaluation time and a treatment time. So if you have an athletic trainer, it typically is the time that the athletic trainer talks to the person, but as soon as he gives a person ice or touches them, then the 3 minutes start. So if you have somebody on your team, let your players know if they get hurt on court, they can send somebody else from that court to the tournament desk to grab one of us. We'll come out. We are not medical staff, but we will talk to you, bring ice if you need it, and then kind of evaluate the situation. If say you get ice, once you get ice, you get 3 minutes to decide if you're going to continue to play or not. Typically, that's a maximum of 15 minutes. It does kind of sometimes vary depending on how long it takes to get a site director out to the court and that kind of thing. So just know that that's a little bit of a sliding scale on the medical timeout. Bleeding timeout is a little bit different. It takes a little bit more time because we have to clean up, and there are some other issues with blood on the court. Fortunately, I haven't experienced this, so I'd like to kind of keep it that way, but it does take a little bit longer. Things that are considered medical conditions, injury, roll your ankle, trip and fall. If you get overheated or have cramping, any of those things can be considered a medical timeout. One of the things you can't do is if you take a medical timeout for a cramp in your right leg, later on you can't take a medical timeout for a cramp in your left leg. So cramping condition is considered one thing. If you have to take a second medical timeout for the same issue, then you would need to retire the match. So just kind of give us a little bit of leeway on this. Know that everybody's human and we're doing our best. And we will try to keep to that 3 minute treatment time. Sometimes it's not entirely possible. The biggest thing is we want to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's healthy, and that everybody can kind of walk off the court as best as possible. I put this on here for you guys as a reference. This is the second year this has been on here. So just know that now if you get a code violation during a championship, it is not a grievance process. It is just a code violation like a regular tournament. Your site directors can act as officials in this capacity. So if you break your racket on the court and you get a code violation for it, then you get points on your account automatically, and they are national. So if you get up to 10 points on your account, that means you are suspended from play for 3 months. That is across the country. So you can't go to Eastern and play. You can't go to Florida and play. A suspension is a suspension. Just know that that these things, it's new that it's national. This is the second full year that it's been a national system and not just section wide. So please be on your best behavior, and no breaking rackets and no screaming curse words, and we won't have any issues. We desperately want to hear stories about your teams, your families, your play. If you have any fun photos or any fun stories, you can always do a direct message to USTA New England's Instagram, or this photo inbox here goes to our marketing department, and we like team photos and we like action shots and fun things. Please tell us your story. We definitely want to know who wins, but we also want to know what's the impetus behind why you're there and why your team is your team, and what kind of experiences you guys have had as a team. We're really trying to get some good stories out there. So please let us know. This is the national championship schedule. So you guys have a copy of it. Adult 18 and over, 2.5s and 5.0s are September 29th through October 1st in Tucson. The 3.5s are the same weekend in Surprise, Arizona. 4.5s, October 6th through the 8th in Surprise. 3.0s, the 13th through the 15th in Surprise. 4.0s, the October 20th through the 22nd in Surprise. And that's everybody, right? Did I get everybody? Anyway, you have a copy of this. That way you know where you're going, and winners will advance to the national championship. we have left courts open for this championship on purpose to keep the flow of the championship going. These courts are not available for practice. They're not available for practice before the championship, during the championship, at night after the championship. Please do not pop on a court that's empty. We are going to use them to keep everything on track. We do still have some players that wear masks, so please be respectful. Masks are optional on and off the court. Please bring plenty of water and snacks with you. I will tell you that the colleges are a little bit light on the world of water, so please bring coolers with plenty of water. Ice, you can bring rolling coolers if you want, like the Coleman's or the Yetis. You're more than welcome to set up with a tent with all of that stuff so that you can have it for your players as well. But only clear liquids are allowed on the court. So no red Gatorade. We don't want to spill anything and stain the courts. Alcohol is not allowed at all on the college campuses. Please do not bring alcohol onto the college campuses. So that's really it for me. Does anybody, I think I saw, yes, nationals are all outside as well, all on hard court. Go ahead, Andrea. You're on mute. Did you have a question?
Sorry about that. Bathrooms are close to the courts.
Yes. So at Smith College, there's, it's kind of a funny little hut. I don't know what else to call it, with an overhang, and there's like one bathroom on the back of that, and then the field house will be open for us. And at Amherst, they will have porta potties out there, and they clean them every day. And last year we didn't have any problems at all at Amherst with the bathrooms either. So go ahead, Samantha.
You said that there's one bathroom. Is that the overhang at the courts at Smith?
Yes.
Okay,
and then the field house will be open.
Do you know if there's any access to showers for players?
There won't be on either one of the college campuses.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Christy, in the event that there is, for some reason, any leftover rain from Friday, which right now it's supposed to rain on Friday, let's assume the worst case scenario, are we looking at potentially the first matches to be delayed until the courts are completely dry, and or at that point, will the first matches of the day be going indoors?
So that's kind of a last minute call, and we will do a rain schedule just so that to make sure that everybody knows ahead of time what's going on. If it's a matter of just a few minutes late, we probably will just start late. I can't, it's kind of depends on how long we would be delayed as to whether or not we would move matches indoors. We'll give you plenty of notice though, because our indoor facilities are a little bit further away. We've got Enfield, Farmington Valley, and East Hartford. So they're a little bit further away from the courts. We want to make sure that you have plenty of time to get there. We'll let you know definitely ahead of time.
Thank you.
I just wanted to confirm the format. So there's no semifinals or finals. It's just round robin. Whoever wins the most matches wins, correct?
Right. So it's team wins. And
Okay.
then if there are ties, it goes to individual position wins. Yeah, but just one round robin and winner take all.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Christy, I have a player that's qualified for a 3-0 and a 3-5 team, and they would play back-to-back, 8 o'clock and 9:45. So if that player's needed for the 3-5 team, would anything provision-wise be done so that person can at least finish their match and won't get docked for being late if they get called for their second match?
If they're playing for two different levels, we don't make any provisions for that. So so you need to make sure, however they're put in the lineup, that you make provisions for that. So if they're playing at 8 and he plays a 3-hour match and he defaults in the 3-5, he defaults in the 3-5. We can't even give him the 30 minutes rest. If it was within the same level, that's a little bit different. But when they play two different levels, we don't make any provisions.
Right. Well, I mean, you can only play on one team within the same level, right? So
right. But sometimes, and it won't happen here, but sometimes when the matches are scheduled a little bit differently, you can have a match that goes long and then be playing in another match and you get 30 minutes in between. These
Okay.
are scheduled far enough apart that nobody will have that. But yeah, there's no provision. So be really careful and maybe talk to the 3-5 captain and see how you guys want to schedule it.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Aaron. You're on mute. Did you have a question? I see your hand, Aaron. Did you have a question or was that just an error?
I'm sorry, Christy, I didn't even realize that I'd raised my hand.
Oh, I think there's two Aarons. I think it was
Oh,
Aaron.
there we
Harris.
go.
But hi, other Aaron.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there you are. Is that
I'm
Aaron?
sorry.
Harris?
Yeah,
Hi.
it's Aaron here. Sorry. Technical difficulties because I don't ever use this form of meeting app. But no, my question is quick. If it because I always get it confused. If it comes down to a tie between two teams for this round robin format, the first tie break is who won the head to head. Is that still correct?
It is individual position wins before head to head. So team wins,
Individual. Okay.
individual position wins, and then head to head.
Meaning, what does that mean? Individual position wins.
So in the 5-court format, that would be 5 individual positions.
Okay, but like meaning, you know, that we play the first team and we beat them, but then after everything is said and done, like there's two teams that have 2 wins and 1 loss. What is the tiebreak at that point? Is it just the number of wins overall, or is it come down to the head to head?
No, so if you like say you win 4-1, you have 4 individual position wins. And if the other team at some other point had won 3-2, they would only have 3 position wins. So with that, it gets totaled up at the end of the round robin.
Okay. Okay. So if you've won 2 and lost 1, that wouldn't necessarily come down to the head to head of who won between the 2 that are tied.
That's correct. It would not necessarily be that. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thanks for clarifying. Okay.
Sure.
Christian, for nationals, we get rid of the DQ 3 strike, correct?
Meaning they don't run it.
Correct. My understanding was that the 3 strike DQ only takes place during districts and sectionals, but any player who goes and plays in nationals doesn't apply the 3 strike rule anymore.
Here's what happens. When you get to nationals, they will not run the 3 strike DQ report there. So you cannot be 3 strike disqualified at nationals. However, you should be aware that if you generated a 3rd strike at nationals and you're also playing in a 40 and over national, you would be moved up.
Okay.
So that, that's a little nuance that once again doesn't happen often, but it has happened.
Okay. And can you guys clarify a little bit around if the team goes to nationals, whichever level they are playing, does the whole team move a level up if they win during nationals and only 3 of those players are able to stay in the current team?
You won't all move up. If you're talking about would your rating move up, is that the question?
Yes.
No, your rating, many of the team might keep the same rating level, but the move up split up is in regard to either you can move up to the next higher level as a team, where if there are in-level requirements, those would be suspended for your team, or for those people whose rating stayed the same, only 3 of them can be on a team of that level. And by the way, just so you know, in case you're, let's say you're close to the border with New York, I mean, that counts. It doesn't matter where the team is. There are reports, only 3 people that made it to nationals can be on the same team at the same level and the same league type, meaning League type would be the 18 and over. Level would be like 3-0 women.
Okay.
Did I go too fast?
No, I think I got it all. I think you answered. Thank you.
Yep.
Go ahead, Samantha.
Will there be someone like a ref roaming the courts, or if there's an issue, do we need to go find somebody? Like, say our opponents keep foot faulting and we want someone to come and judge. How do we get someone to come and watch what's happening on the court?
So if you have any issues of any kind or any conflicts that take more than 30 or 45 seconds to resolve, we want you to leave your racket on the court and come get the site director. We aren't going to have roving officials, but that's what your site director and assistant site directors are for, to come and help, whether it's a scoring issue, or anything else. I will say foot faulting is a little bit different because you can't call foot faults on your opponent. And technically, if you call a site director, they'll come watch. They're not going to call a foot fault, but they will watch. And it's a really gray area, the foot faults. We've been having a lot of conversations about it, but definitely come see your site director and have them come. They'll stand on the court for 4 games if it's doubles, or 2, at least 2 if it's singles, to make sure that everything is on the up and up. We can help with the scores. So make sure that your players know that it's their responsibility. They can't say to you on the opposite side of the fence, hey, go get the site director. They need to come off the court and get the site director.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a
Okay.
limit as far as how many times you can call a site director during a match?
No, not officially. No. Yeah, not really. Somebody asked about Let's in the chat. And so this is actually something that I know it's doesn't really happen very often when we're indoors because we have curtains. You can only call Let's on your court, but anybody on a court can call a Let. So if a ball is rolling and if it's in your sight line, or you think somebody's going to step on it, or it distracts you, you call a Let. It replays the point. It is a do-over. Now, I say that if you see a ball and you see somebody is about to step on it on another court, please be human and don't let them break their ankle. But technically, you cannot call a Let on somebody else's court. So my suggestion is, and try to kind of let your players know this, when somebody serves to you and it's clearly out, call it out, but stop it and put it in your pocket instead of just letting it go behind you. I know we get in that habit indoors, but just try to pocket the balls as they come. If ball's out, grab it, call it out very loudly so that people know that you called it out, but then you stop it. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
So there's no dividers between the courts. It's just open.
I'm trying to remember if there were half fences, but I don't think there are at either place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be using all the courts. Most likely there's going to be someone next to us on either side.
Yeah, you could be in the middle. Yep.
Right. Okay.
The thing about Lets too, don't be afraid to call a Let if you're distracted by a ball. The problem happens with Lets when somebody's about to hit an overhead that's going to be a clear winner and another player calls a Let as gamesmanship. That's really unacceptable. Really, the Lets are for safety of the players and fairness. So we don't want anybody to use it in kind of an unsportsmanlike way. What else? Anybody have any other questions?
Does that same thing go for, like, you hit your first serve, it's a fault, you're ready for your second serve, a ball comes across your court. Do you grant 2 serves? Do you get another first serve, or you just play the second serve at that point?
So that's, again, I'm going to not answer your question. This is going to be terrible. Sorry, Randy.
All right.
So if a ball comes across and all you have to do is flip it to the back fence and it takes about 2 seconds, it's a second serve. If a ball rolls onto your court and you have to stop what you're doing, go get it, throw it to the other team, then you have interrupted the motion and the rhythm of the serve, and you would grant a first serve.
And so the opponents would have to grant that to the serving team then?
Yeah.
So can the serving team ask for that?
You can ask for it, yeah. And I played outdoors for lots and lots of years, and I think when you're used to playing outdoors, that's kind of the default standard is go ahead and take 2.
Mhm.
I know it's this is a championship, so there are some other things going on than just regular outdoor play, but just know that if it takes no time to pop the ball to the back fence or to someone else, it's just a second serve. And then if you do have to move around a little bit and take extra time, you can do a first serve.
Okay, thank you.
What else, you guys? These are good questions because we don't play outdoors very often, so we want to make sure that everybody is really prepared. Go ahead, Danny.
Since we are playing outdoors, are sunglasses and hats okay, or is that against the rules to wear sunglasses?
You can wear sunglasses, you can wear hats. If you have a towel that you're keeping on court, you either need to keep it by your bag, by the posts or where you're sitting, or on the ground behind you. You can't hang it in the fence. It can't be in the sight line of the other team. So if it happens to get hot and you want the towel with you, just make sure it's pushed up against the fence on the back. But hats and sunglasses, perfectly fine.
Christy, would there be any situation where games are stopped because of wind, high wind?
I wouldn't anticipate it unless it was really bad, like if it was bad weather, if there was going to be a storm and it looked like there was a danger to the players. I'm from Oklahoma. We played in some pretty stiff winds out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. I did see on the weather, though, it looked like the winds were going to be like 10 miles an hour or less, which is kind of fantastic. Anything else, you guys?
Can you just go over what you get for a break between sets and between this first and second and the second and third?
So when you switch on the odds, you get 90 seconds. In between sets, you get 2 minutes. It's a lot more time than you kind of think it is. And if anybody needs to take a bathroom break, players can take a bathroom break at any time. We cannot tell a player they cannot take a bathroom break. We highly encourage it to be at the end of a set. But if there's an emergency, we tell your players just put the racket on the court and go. There's no coaching though. So if they have to go to the bathroom in the middle of a match, they can't come up to you and talk to you or any of the other players. They need to go straight up to the bathroom and come back. Go ahead.
Are Apple Watches okay to wear, or like smart watches okay to wear?
Everything has to be in airplane mode. You can wear them, but everything needs to be in airplane mode.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else, you guys? Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording now.